And then I'm looking at my friend. And at that moment, I turned my head around because I did not want to see the brutality of what was happening. And then when I turned my head and I look at the horizon, there was the ocean. And it was peaceful. And then I saw, you know, how when the sun hit the water and it's kind of a sparkle light, I saw that and I'm like, oh, that same state happened within. And at that moment, I just entered in that state of connection. First of all, thank you so much for your donations. I'm so grateful. I appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. And thank you for being here and for making possible that I am able to share. If it wasn't for you, I could not be here. Like I always say, I'm so honored and so blessed to be able to share and to receive in return so much love. So thank you. Thank you. I truly appreciate all you do for me to continue sharing and doing this work. Love you.
Yeah, wow. We are all around the world.
Yes, I love when the help from Northern Ireland, from Colombia, from Ohio, from Maine, from Ecuador. Oh, that's so cool. We have people from everywhere. I just love that. This is another thing. When we realize that all of us, no matter where we are, the divisions, and we know these, but it's like how the divisions are created in the mind, and all of us are looking for the same thing, to feel inspired, to feel connected, to feel that we belong. You know, incredibly, Madre Teresa de Calcutta, she said that after she traveled and she met so many people that were in so much suffering, she said that the biggest suffering of people was not to be sick, was not to be hungry, was not to be without shelter. The greatest suffering was to feel that they didn't belong. So in reality, what we're yearning for is the sense of connection, of belonging. There was a moment in my life when I was telling the beings of light that when I was growing up and I felt so different from everybody, that there was a moment where I wanted to be like everyone else, I wanted to be normal. And it's when the beings of light said to me, no, you were not looking to be normal. You wanted to belong. See, then we start doing things, but the problem is sometimes we just take the wrong route, and it's the route of comparing and the route of abandoning who we are to be like someone else. See, but hey, sometimes at the beginning, if we need to belong to a group, or we need to be with some people to start building that sense of belonging, that's okay. But it's always go back and go within and remember, we belong because we exist. The very fact that we are here, the very fact that we exist, it makes us belong already, but we forget that. The mind just create that separation and create that idea that I have to be or look or sense different or be like somebody else in order to belong. So it's like, how can I start remembering that the very fact that I am, we are all expressions of God. And there was a moment when I asked the beings of light, I asked them, show me the way. And they said to me, you are the way. And then there was one day I was walking with my dog because I was like, I am the way. And then I was walking with my dog, and it's the moment when I asked, God, help me understand. And in my prayer was like, I want to see you. God, I want to see you. I want to feel you. And it's when I received this, this very incredible, it wasn't just a knowing, it was a feeling. And it's when I started to hear with them, when you walk, I am. When you see your dog, I am. When you hear the birds, I am. See, it was I am in the birds. I am in your steps. I am in the air. And it's how can I, at every moment, experience that? And we experience it when we learn to pause. So now for a moment, in order just to feel connected, I would just invite you just for a moment to close your eyes. And then we just can create a moment of like just connection and the sense that we belong, and the sense that we are grounded, and the sense that we're all connected in unity. So let's just breathe deep and just have the intention to be present. To feel connected. And to feel connected, we're going to start by connecting with the very ground that holds us. And we're going to relax our feet and feel our feet, our legs connected to the Mother Earth, to the ground, to the very thing that nurtures us and allow us to experience our human experience. Then we're going to relax the legs and relax our belly and relax our chest and relax our arms and relax our head. Relax the neck. And with every moment that we relax and we're present, we expand. We open our heart and our understanding. And we create a space for connection. Space for clarity. Space for joy. Space for gratitude. So grateful to be here today with you, with the intention to share with the heart. And little by little, we open our eyes And we look around. And we stretch our arms. And when we move our hands, think about it. It's realizing there is a life force that allow us to move. That allow us, it's like, what is it that make this body and all this possible? In that very life force is that presence of God. And that's why is when I ask God, help me see you, allow me to see you. And now after this meditation and after this moment of connection, we can even understand with more clarity. When the answer came and it said, in your steps, I am. In your breath, I am. In your heart, I am. In your dog, I am. In the bird, I am. In the movement, I am. So imagine when we do everything we do with that presence, with that intention of seeing and feeling God everywhere and in everything. And it's when we enter in that space of gratitude. I say, people, imagine when we can live in that place of appreciation and gratitude. That's when I was saying, people, that's when we can activate that invisible armor. And that's what I just experienced, or I have experienced many times, but life bring it to me with clarity and with experience. And I just went to a trip to Egypt, to Jordan, to Israel, to Turkey. And that was an incredible trip. And I was extremely elevated because I was so grateful. I was the sense like, oh, I'm so grateful because that a dream I had since I was a little child. I wanted to go to these places. And I am all about like knowing our ancestors and history and what is hidden out there. And because, oh God, the lineages. I was thinking this morning, and even the very words that we're talking now just are the reflection of our ancestors trying to bring all these clarities. Think about Jesus Christ, think about Krishna, think about Buddha, think about Thich Nhat Hanh, think about any guru, master, teacher. We're all following a lineage of how can we share the truth. And I say these very words, nothing belongs to me. We're just vehicles. And we're all here showing the path and complementing each other. We're all here to show each other the big picture. So it's like, so I'm in this trip and I'm so grateful. I'm so elevated. And it's when I had it clear what happened when you are in that state of, we call high vibrational frequency. Gratitude is the highest vibrational frequency there is. And then it's when we see miracles happening. And in the trip, I was in a tour and we were in total 30 people. And there was one of the girls, she came with like this very bad cold, like this tremendous cold. And then she just most of the time didn't protect herself with a mask. And we were in a bus and we were all doing things together. And she just coughing and stuff. And it's like, what do you think happened? Everybody got sick. I mean, just spreading the virus everywhere. So now everybody got sick. And now it was this terrible cold. And on top of everything, I mean, I had the experience of getting sick with typhoid fever in the past. from eating some raw vegetables. And I told people in certain places of the world, it's best if you do not eat these kind of things. And I told them, do not eat the salads. Don't eat the salads. And people didn't listen. So now, besides having this terrible cold, half of the people had the diarrhea. But guess what happened? This is incredible, because it's when the beings of light show, and we experience it like with our own body. From the 30 people, 29 got sick with everything I'm telling you, except this person, except this body. And I was like, wow, look what happened when we are elevated. Look what happened when we are connected. And again, I bring it to you guys always with the sense of humility. I'm sharing with you because I want to show you, as my own experience, as an example of life, what can happen when we are connected, when we are aligned, when we are elevated. And there was not a moment in this trip that I wasn't in my prayer. And what is my prayer? My prayer is, God, don't let me forget you. Allow me to see you. Experience gratitude, appreciation. It was. And when I asked God, show me the way, which is how I started today, and the message I received, you are the way. What was that saying? That at every moment I can use my own experience to fuel my awareness, to fuel my presence. So at every moment, at every step, I was be present, be present, be present. And when I was seeing the people getting sick, I was even more present and more connected. And I was sending light, being that vehicle, like help this person to heal. And I repeat these beautiful, beautiful mantras that I have learned from other teachers. May you be well. May you be loved. May you understand your challenge. May you be happy. May you be in the light. And it was this continuous state of connection. And of course, as I'm seeing the temples and the buildings and the pyramids and everything, I'm even more excited, more connected. And I have shared with you guys many times, and I'm not tired to repeat when I said, when the being so light said to me, Ingrid, you don't imagine how grateful everyone would be if they realize that for you to exist, trillions and trillions and trillions of subatomic particles have to be in agreement. Like what? You are a divine intention. So imagine I'm standing there and I'm thinking, and I do it with everything. I always grab like a pen and I said, wow, trillions and trillions of particles, subatomic particles agree to be this pen, through also the agreement of somebody being the creative state of being. And that created state of being happens when we are in the state of pausing, in the state of calming the mind, the state of connection. And now the ideas come because we get aligned with the creative thinking of the universe. So imagine now I am there with these temples, with these pyramids, with all these things. And I'm like, this is amazing. It's incredible what we human beings can do. And some say this is the doing of extraterrestrial beings or something when we talk about the pyramids. We don't know the truth of that. But what I know is that we humans are incredibly capable. We are creators and we can do amazing things. And when I'm standing there in the middle of all these wonders, I'm like, wow, we really think too little of us. And when we said, I'm only human, I said, wow, no, you're not. That's why we're called human beings. We're completely forgetting the other part. Yeah, we are the physical manifestation, but we are the beingness of it. We are physical and we are divine. We are an expression. We are a manifestation of universal consciousness of God. And that's why we are made at the image and likeness of God. And that's why Jesus says, you can do this and more. And we think so little of us. And that's why today I want to be here to inspire us and realize we're capable of so much more than we think we do. And how can we step into that? Make it your decision every day to be present, to feel, to step out there and walk and step in like the grass, take your shoes off and how does it feel? And remember, in the grass I am, in the air I am, in this breath I am. And many of you probably have heard the story, but for the ones that have not, and it's always good repeating this very incredible story, because it's a moment in my life where I should be dead. Well, a few times I have almost stepped into the doors of dying, but this time I had an experience. I was in Colombia in an area called Santa Marta, and it was this beautiful beach, this incredible beach. And I went there with a boyfriend I had at the time, and we went on a day of just snorkeling. And like, it's incredible how we can think like in the most beautiful paradise, something so horrendous could happen. And I'm there and we're having a good time. And then this was a place that was made of, each beach was like a cove, and it was surrounded by cliffs. So to go to every beach, you have to kind of pass a cliff, go in the water. It was like a whole experience. And it was good. We were young and we were just having fun. And then we visited like about I would say 4 or 5 of these coves. And when we arrived to the last beach, we realized we cannot go farther. There was this cliff that went into the water pretty far, and the current was strong. So we already have done a lot. And like, we sat there. Oh, this was such a good day. And we were about to return. And when we were about to turn around the cliff, 3 men appeared. And it was immediately, I think some of you, we kind of have that sense that, oh, like you have this feeling that when someone is not with good intentions, and I felt it. And you know, the incredible thing is that one of the men, he slept on a rock because it had this slippery algae on it. And my friend held his hand. We held his hand to help him. And I even thought in my head that that act of helping him probably was going to stop him from harming us. But nope, they already had in their head the idea that they wanted something. So at that moment, they pushed us back to the beach, to the sand. And then they say, we want all your things. And we had our snorkeling gear and our backpacks and our stuff, and they started to take everything from us. And at that point, okay, you think they took everything, they're going to leave? No, they wanted more. And wanted more, meaning now harming us. And then they grabbed my friend and they tied his hands at the back. They pushed him, and he was now sitting on the sand. And one of the guys was holding a knife, and the other one was holding a piece of glass. And then he grabbed this sharp piece of glass and put it on his neck. And he's almost cutting his neck. And I'm looking at this, and imagine the horror at that moment. You're just like, this whole horror in your head. Okay, this is it. We're just going to get killed here. And then I'm looking at my friend. And at that moment, I turned my head around because I did not want to see the brutality of what was happening. And then when I turned my head and I looked at the horizon, there was the ocean. And it was peaceful. And then I saw, you know, how when the sun hit the water and it's kind of a sparkle light, I saw that and I'm like, and at that moment, since I had been meditating, when this happened, I was about 20 years old. And I have been meditating since I was 8 years old. And I had the near-death experience, all that. I had that possibility to connect. But even at this moment, when I'm 20 years old, is when I already told the being so light, let me do my own thing, you know? I need to just do my own thing. So we think we disconnect completely. No, we don't. The moment that we already say, like, it's like riding a bicycle. You probably ride your bicycle for a while. You didn't touch it for 10 years, 2 years, 1 year. When you grab it again, you just go back to it again. Same thing here. At that very moment, I guess since after so many years of meditating and being in connection, the moment I look at the ocean, the peace, the calmness, that same state happened within. And at that moment, I just enter in that state of connection. What is the common thing in all these experiences? When I saw the horizon and the sun and the calmness, what that I experienced? Appreciation. Incredibly gratitude. It's like, oh, I appreciate this. So this is so beautiful. And at that moment was like, whoop. And then all thought was gone in my mind. And incredibly, just give you a little bit of a parallel, like when I was in this trip to Egypt, to all these places, I was experiencing the same thing, the complete quietness of the mind. And see, that's what creates that armor. And then I was in this space of now the mind is completely quiet. There was not a thought that could come to my mind about me being further harmed or raped or killed or nothing. Nothing was there. And then at that moment, when you are in that place of, I would just say you identify with presence, with that force that you are, with the being of your existence, the beingness of your existence. At that moment, you become super powerful. But look what power is. People have confused the idea of what power is. At that moment, the men pushed me on the ground, and they have tied my hands too. They push me. Now I'm lying on the ground. The guy lie on top of me. I am like 100, I think I was like 98 pounds, now 90 pounds. And the guy was 200 and something pounds. He was huge. He was strong man. He lied on top of me. So now imagine, it's my body plus the heaviness of this body. Imagine your hands at the back. They're pretty much tied there. And the moment that the guy was already going to take my clothes and rape me, I freed his hand. How? The hand was tied. I freed his hand. And then I grabbed his chin. He was looking down, and I'm lying here. He's looking at me. I put his eyes directly in my eyes. And I said to him, imagine you're about to be raped. At that moment, somebody will be crying and screaming, no, don't do it. He said, dear, don't do this to me. And the guy stood, he jumped like a coil. And he looked at the other two and he said, we have to go. The other two did not even fight, nothing. They just complied with what he said, and the three men left. At that moment, I stood and I went to my friend, I untied his hands, and I said to him, we have to go because they're going to come back. I had that absolute clarity. And then there was, like I said to you, there was a cliff. It was hard to go in the water and swim. I wasn't a really good swimmer. So I said to him, we have to climb. And it was like this huge, almost wall rock. And we did climb this rock. And I felt like we were almost lifted. I'm telling you, we don't understand how powerful we are. Not just powerful, but that we're not alone. I really felt like we were almost being like pushed up these rocks. And we went all the way up to the cliff, and at the top there was these bushes. And then once we were up there, I told my friend, go down, go down. And he just did it, and we hid in the bushes. And at that moment, the three men came back. And then we could see them up there from the cliff. We could see them on the beach. And then he just held my hand and he just whispered, how did you know? How all is possible? How did you know they were coming? Why did they leave? I mean, the guy was like 10 million questions in his head. And incredibly, he was an atheist. He was very rebellious, didn't believe in anything. And I said to him, if you did not believe in guardian angels, this is the moment. If you didn't believe that we're more powerful than we are, this is the moment. And he said, I don't need, after that, he said, not at that moment, but later, it's like, I don't need to believe this, I just know now. And this is one thing with the beings of light. They said to me, for all these experiences that you're having, there will be witnesses. Because sometimes if I have it just by myself and I come and share it, it's like, oh yeah, Ingrid. No, I mean, there was someone else too there, and this changed completely this person's life. And then from this mountain, we started to go down, just to tell you all that happened, because these people meant to rape me. They have taken pretty much all our clothes, everything, our shoes, everything. The only thing I was left was my bikini. We already dressed because we were about to leave. So they took our shoes, all our clothes. And then I was left in my bikini. And we were walking down this mountain. And this place was all made of bushes with thorns. So we were being cut, but again, and I don't know, any of you have experienced when you're in a very high state of adrenaline and high state of going, you don't feel any pain. You don't feel anything. And we kept walking, and we were walking in the ground with thorns, with everything, and we didn't feel any pain. And then finally we arrived to the road, and there was a car that came with, it was full of scuba divers. This was an area for diving. And then they stopped and they looked at us because we were hiding in the bushes, hoping for somebody to come. And the moment we saw this car, we kind of jumped in the street. I'm like, please help us. And this car stopped, and we were like, my hair is all crazy. We were all cut, we were all scraped, and they picked us up and they took us to a police station. And we were able to identify the people, to give all the descriptions. And then they told us that they had been for months looking for people that had been, there's been, I don't know how many killings and rapings already that happened in the area. And we were the first people that survived and were able to give description of the 3 people doing these kind of acts. And then later, when we were able to get home and everything, we realized now that the pain coming, we have thorns in our feet everywhere. But this is the other incredible thing that happened besides all these, that is already an incredible miracle, and is that what truly happened the moment that I look at this guy in the eyes is that besides being in that absolute moment of presence and alignment and free from all thought and conditioning and idea, the moment I looked at him in the eyes, we were one. I saw oneness, I experienced, I said, oh, he's none of this conditioning. He's none of it. And he's when I realized, wow, in reality, there is no enemy. We create enemies in the mind. And due to division and separation, we make each other's enemies. And we create division and we fight with each other. And at that moment, that person and I became one. And he's like, and again, when I asked to God, help me see you. And at that moment is when I experienced the eyes of God in everybody, in everyone, even in the person that was trying to harm me and kill me at that moment. And in that moment of connection, I don't know what that person thought. I know what the experience showed me. I know that at this moment, this person had to experience something similar in depthness to what I was experiencing, because he pushed and he left. But what happened is that he was very conditioned, of course. And I knew that that conditioning was going to come back. This was just a window. This was just a moment. And when that, of course, that person remembered or forgot who he was, it's funny, he forgot again his nature. Then all that conditioning was there. And I knew they were going to come back. So all this is just to show you how powerful we are when we are aligned. And it doesn't just make us or Ingrid powerful, it gives power to all of us. That's why when we connect with people that are aligned, when we find the master, the guru, the teacher, we start remembering. Imagine if that guy at that moment was able to remember who he was. Imagine us, all of us with intention. I want to remember. I want to remember. And it's when the being so light said to me, there's so much merit in each person that has made the decision to remember. And all of us go there and walk our path with that intention. They said, do not ever disregard the power of that intention. And to share another experience, and we can go to questions and answers, but another incredible thing I experienced in Israel. There's so many experiences I had there that were incredible, but another one, this, I don't even know where to go. I in my mind, it's like, I want to share everything with them. So it's like, there was few things, but there was, when we were in Israel and we were making the line to go to see the tomb of Jesus. It's incredible how I experienced too, how in this place, many fights happen. Because it's incredible how even we're in a place where we're supposed to be so aligned is when we experience that contrast. And we go back to that place of division and separation. And even when I was right there, our group, my whole group was from Colombia. And we were behind the line, in the line, and there was a group from Texas. And then in the moment where these lines are like going to Disney, it's like even worse, 2.5 hours of making this line. People are tired. And there was a moment in which the line started to curve. And then we kind of went to like this a corner, and it felt like we were kind of going ahead. And the person of the head of that group, the guide, he got pretty angry. He's like, "Your guys trying to go ahead." And we're like, "No, we're not." And like, "Yes, you are." And then he got really angry. And one of the ladies from our group, he pushed. And then right there, the husband got super angry, that huge fight. And I'm standing there, I'm like, this is the place where Jesus died. How can we be doing this? And then in the middle of this whole fight, there was a priest here. I was here, and he said, "Who speaks English here?" Because we needed communication. See what happened when there's not communication. And then they said at that moment, I said, "Me." And he said, "Are you the tour guide?" And I said, "No, I'm just the one that kind of speak the two languages." And then he said at that moment, he started to scream. And it's when I said, "Don't you realize that this is the place where we should be quiet and present and connected and respectful to each other?" And at that moment, he went quiet. And he just started to cry. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And you know what I thought in my mind? Just doing that line, and of course we cannot compare for one moment with what happened to Jesus, but I'm like, oh my God, look, in just one line and we're doing all this. Imagine all that Jesus had to endure. All the selfishness, the egotistic mind, the unconsciousness, see all this stuff. I'm like, we're already screaming and treating each other bad in just this line. And then at the end, the priest from this group was grateful, and he just held my hand. But it's just like, that's the work that all of us have to do. Be that light at the moment that is required, but that requires presence. And that every moment I'm walking in this line, I am in presence. And again, yeah, it was 2.5 hours of line, and I never felt tired. I never felt like I have to be somewhere else. I never felt like, oh my God, the line. It was like, no, because when you're present, what is the difference? It's not attachment to a thought I have to be somewhere else. If this was different, if I could change it. No, it doesn't matter. Again, what is in the way is the way. Use that to fuel your awareness. Use that to be present. You use it even more to be connected. And the other amazing thing I want to share with you is like when I went to the place where Jesus was born, again, another 2-hour line. And then for 3 hours, this was a really long line. And when we entered the place where Jesus was born, there's a star, and there's like a little area where they kind of symbolize that is, say, like where his crib was. And then inside this place, because the line is so long, and of course you have to be mindful of all the people that are in this line forever, you go in and they get you out. You go in, they get you out. And it's pretty much like you're there for 30 seconds after being like in this line for like 3 hours. And there's, say, maximum 1 minute. Then this other miracle happened with a witness. And I am there inside this place. And inside the place, you have the star, you have the little area, but there's another area, like deep in, and there's some pictures hanging on the wall. But again, they were not letting anybody stay. You go in, you go out, you go out. And then my dad and I, we touched the star, we went to this other place, and then the two of us, we were going to continue, and somebody came and told my dad and I, stay. He said, you can stay, and you can go stay there. And then we went back into that little corner. And I said that, and I said, even my dad talking later with him, it's like, who was this person? He told us to stay, and then I never saw this person again. And then the moment this person told us to stay, we went deep into this little corner. And I said to my dad, please, you just stay here. I need to meditate. And then I closed my eyes and I started to meditate. And I felt, guys, like if I was being elevated up the ground. It was the most amazing state of just presence, connection, no thought. And when I say no thought, of course, the moment I realized I'm not thinking, I'm thinking. But I had to realize it in order to realize I'm not really thinking. It was empty of just absolute presence. And then later I told my dad, that is incredible that we were allowed to stay there like 5 more minutes. My dad said, you're kidding? We were there for 20 minutes. And nobody saw us, nobody asked us to leave, nobody, nothing. And then I was able to stay there, do all these meditations in this state of communion and union. And then it was in our own decision. My dad was like, we have to go because the rest of the tour is probably looking for us. And then we left the place, and then they were looking for us. They're like, where have you been? We're looking for you everywhere. And they didn't know we were inside it. How could you stay there for 20 minutes? So again, this is all the things, and I could just give you 100 more examples of what happened when we are aligned and connected. And to finish and go to questions, there was I have a friend, my best friend. She said to me, there was a one day when I got sick, and it was a few years ago, and it was in winter. It was a really stormy night, and there was, like, it's very rare here in Mississippi to have a snow. And that was a night where there was hail and snow, and it was a really, really terrible weather. And I called her, my husband was out of town, and I said, you have to come. I need that you bring me to the hospital. And in the way to the house, She said, Ingrid, the most amazing thing happened. She said to me, I'm driving and it's like the road is clear. She said, there's no ice, there's no rain, there's no hail, there's nothing. And then she arrived to my house and he says, and on top of everything, I arrived to your house and the birds are singing. And it's the middle of the night. He said, you're the only house I know that birds sing in the middle of the night. See? So this is the things that, again, I don't want you to think this is something that happens to Ingrid because Ingrid is special. It's all of us. When we're connected and aligned, we allow all this to happen and we become the witness and we become the creators of our own reality and we become the presence. And it's when is that clarity. Again, when I said to God, I want to see you, I want to feel you. And then I received it. In your steps, I am. In the air, I am. In your hands, I am. In your breath, I am. In the food you eat, I am. So it's just start entering into that space of alignment and presence. And we just become, like when we talk about superheroes, we become super beings, like the full expression of our potential being. And all of us can do it. All of us can do it little by little, one step at a time, with awareness, Praise your awareness. Start from there. Every time you're aware of anything, I'm being mad, I'm being angry, I'm being distracted, whatever, instead of like punishing yourself because you're distracted, because you feel you're not enough, because it's late, because you didn't do it. I praise my awareness. And from praising your awareness, you experience gratitude, appreciation. I appreciate my awareness. During gratitude, you elevate your vibrational frequency. Yeah, this is just amazing to be in your presence and to just remind each one of you how beautiful and how amazing and how incredible you are. And that this is the time to remember this incarnation. This is the opportunity. You know, this is amazing, because how amazing life on earth would be if we remember our true purpose. And what is that purpose? To remember that we are the light. To remember that we're more than this body, more than this mind. To remember there is this life force. Wow. And from there, just shine that force, that light. Yes, woo. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for making this possible, for all of us to gather here together and make this possible. I also want to just offer my deep appreciation and gratitude for every one of you that have donated. And I don't have enough words to express how grateful I am for having you here and for receiving your donations. And this makes possible that I keep sharing and that I keep doing this kind of gatherings with you. And at the same time, I'm able to just, pay the marketing, the Zoom, the help, everyone that is here and everything that is making possible these gatherings. So Thank you, God. Thank you, all of you. Thank the beings of light and thank the universe because all of this is made possible. I love you. I love you all with all my heart. Mwah. See you next. If you love this video and want to stay connected, please subscribe to my channel and visit my website at ingridhonkala.com. See you next time. Bye.